And here is the Writer's Almanac for Thursday, May the 21st, 2020. 1881, on this day, Clara Barton founded the American Red Cross. She was a shy young woman with a stutter. She began teaching 1839, age of 18, overcame her shyness. And early on, Clara Barton said, "I may sometimes be willing to teach for nothing, but if paid at all, I shall never do a man's work for less than a man's pay." Took a job in 1854 at the U.S. Patent Office in Washington, worked hard, and indeed, within a year was making a salary equal to that of the men in the office. By 1861, war was breaking out, and when the Battle of Bull Run took place not so far from Washington, a major defeat for the Union, Clara Barton read reports of the battle and realized that the Army had not seriously considered or provided for wounded soldiers, so she began to ride along in ambulances. And afterward, after the war, traveling to Geneva, she learned about the International Red Cross and founded the American Red Cross on this day in 1881. It's the birthday of Alexander Pope, London, 1688. Catholic family, and there was a wave of anti-Catholic sentiment in England at the time, so he was not allowed to attend public school. His aunt taught him to read, a priest taught him Latin and Greek, and he fell in love with the works of Homer when he was only 8. He developed tuberculosis, which affected his bones and stunted his growth. He was a hunchback, about 4 foot 6 inches tall. Not many of his poems are read today, but he's very often quoted. It was Alexander Pope who said, "To err is human, to forgive divine, and fools rush in where angels fear to tread." Pope said, "A little learning is a dangerous thing. Drink deep or taste not the Pierian spring." And it was Alexander Pope who said, "Be not the first by whom the new are tried, nor yet the last to lay the old aside." Here's a poem for today by Richard Jones entitled Rest. It's so late I could cut my lights and drive the next 50 miles of empty interstate by starlight, flying along in a dream countryside alive with shapes and shadows, but exit ramps lined with 18-wheelers and truckers sleeping in their cabs make me consider pulling into a rest stop and closing my eyes. I've done it before, parking next to a family sleeping in a Chevy, mom and dad up front, 3 kids in the back, the windows slightly misted by the sleeper's breath. But instead of resting, I'd smoke a cigarette, play the radio low, and keep watch over the wayfarers in the car next to me, a strange paternal concern and compassion for their well-being rising up inside me. This was before I had children of my own and had felt the sharp edge of love and anxiety whenever I tiptoed into darkened rooms of sleep to study the small, peaceful faces of my beloved darlings. Now the fatherly feelings are so strong, the snoring truckers are lucky I'm not standing on the running board tapping on the window asking, "Is everything okay?" But it is. Everything is fine. The trucks are all together, sleeping on the gravel shoulders of exit ramps, and the crowded rest stop I'm driving by is a perfect oasis in the moonlight. The way I see it, I've got a second wind, and on the radio, an all-night country station. Nothing for me to do on this road but drive and give thanks. I'll be home by dawn. A poem by Richard Jones, Rest, from his collection, The Correct Spelling and Exact Meaning. That's the Writer's Almanac for Thursday, May the 21st. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.